hospital massacre. Al Jazeera has verified a timeline of events of how news of this massacre unfolded across social media. On Tuesday, 17th October at around 6:59 p.m., a massive explosion ripped through the Al Ahli Arab Hospital in Gaza. This video, filmed from outside the hospital, captures the first sounds of ordnance whirring through the air and the subsequent explosions. Almost immediately, multiple eyewitnesses take to social media to describe the scenes of a massacre with hundreds of bodies scattered in the aftermath. Many images are too graphic to broadcast. At 8:23 p.m., the Israeli Prime Minister's social media advisor, Hanania Naftali, celebrated the bombing by saying Israeli Air Force struck a Hamas terrorist base inside a hospital in Gaza. A multiple number of terrorists are dead. He then deleted the tweet. The Israeli army were quick to deny having anything to do with the attack on the hospital and tweeted, the Palestinian Islamic Jihad terrorist organization is responsible for the failed shooting that hit the hospital. Along with the tweet, they posted CCTV footage reportedly confirming rockets being launched by the Palestinian Islamic Jihad. One glaring problem with the footage they shared was the timestamp. The CCTV feed displays a timestamp of 7:59 p.m., which was approximately 1 hour after the impact. The IDF then edited the tweet and removed the attached footage. Other Israeli army-affiliated accounts also began circulating footage which was later debunked and confirmed to be from August 2022. Another Twitter account claimed to be an Al Jazeera journalist at Farida Khan, saying, "I saw with my own eyes it was Hamas Ayash 250 rocket." This account was then deactivated after it proved to be fake. The Al Jazeera network acted swiftly, releasing this statement on X, formerly known as Twitter. This account has no ties to Al Jazeera, its views or content. So, what other evidence is there of the explosion? The Israeli army claims footage on Al Jazeera proves the explosion at Al Ahli Arab Hospital was due to a failed rocket launch by Palestinian Islamic Jihad. After analyzing the footage, we can see a rocket being intercepted and breaking apart in midair. Two more explosions follow. The first can be seen in the distance, followed by a second, much larger explosion at Al Ahli Arab Hospital. This was the moment hundreds were killed. Al Jazeera's digital investigation team has dedicated a detailed investigation into the matter. Independent military and weapons experts are still reviewing social media footage and eyewitness accounts. The Israeli army still refuses to let international journalists or independent bodies such as the ICC from entering Gaza to act as independent investigators. The claims and counterclaims continue, and across social media, unverified and misleading assertions have become part of a wider narrative. Much of it confusing and inaccurate, but all of it aimed at assigning blame without the facts to back it up.
For the first time in years, a Palestinian refugee camp is under Israeli curfew. A raid that began in the early hours of Thursday in Nur Shams near Tul Karim in the north of the occupied West Bank is showing no signs of ending. Israeli forces have declared the area a closed military zone, bulldozing roads, cutting off water and electricity, and turning homes into military posts. This video was filmed in the first hours of the raid. 16-year-old Taha Hamid is shot.
Allah.
His father tries to help him. He too is shot. The father was evacuated. The son bled to death. The Palestinian Red Crescent told Al Jazeera it took paramedics more than 90 minutes to get to Taha, but it was too late.
They're making our job harder. We still can't get into the injured people inside the camp, including children.
Nur Shams refugee camp houses dozens of Palestinian fighters and is regularly targeted by Israeli forces searching for armed groups. But the majority of Palestinians are unarmed. Israeli forces exchange fire with some fighters. Israeli army radio said it targeted a group of fighters with a drone. Palestinians have been killed as a result.
The refugee camp has been undergoing a tough campaign by the Israeli forces. For months now, they've been damaging the infrastructure, arresting people, raiding homes and destroying roads, which increases people's suffering.
More than 120 Palestinians have been arrested in raids across the occupied West Bank, killing and injuring several others.
Palestinians here say they're united in grief with Gaza. 2 funeral processions are making their way through the streets of Ramallah. One is for a 21-year-old Palestinian who has been killed by an Israeli settler after attacking his village. The other is for a 32-year-old Palestinian who was killed in confrontations with Israeli forces.
Arrests too have soared since the beginning of this escalation. The Prisoners' Society says Israeli forces have detained at least 850 Palestinians in the occupied West Bank. People here say it's bringing back painful memories of the Second Intifada, when Israelis invaded the occupied West Bank in the early 2000s. Nida Ibrahim, Al Jazeera, Ramallah, the occupied West Bank.
Make sure to subscribe to our channel to get the latest news from Al Jazeera.
At least 9 Palestinians have been killed by Israeli forces in the occupied West Bank. The Israeli military has raided multiple locations, including Nur Shams refugee camp in Tulkarm. At least 5 Palestinians died during armed confrontations. At least 73 Palestinians have been killed and 1,300 injured by Israeli forces or settlers since October the 7th. Nida Ibrahim joins us now live from Ramallah. So is the siege, another siege in the West Bank, turning bloody now?
Yes, and a new word that Palestinians haven't heard in years, a curfew at the Nur Shams refugee camp, where medics are finding it difficult to reach the wounded and possibly the dead. So we're hearing from locals inside the camp that they're unable to count the dead. So far, the Palestinian Health Ministry has announced that 5 Palestinians have been killed in Tulkarm area alone after Israeli forces raided the refugee camp since the early hours of Monday. They've been turning homes into military posts, destroying roads. There's no electricity, no water inside the camp. So we're talking about basically a total isolation of the camp, where Palestinians are still trying to get to their dead and to their wounded. So we are expecting the numbers to rise as we speak now, and as Palestinian medics are trying to get inside the camp and assess the situation. Let's not forget that this is not the first time that the Israeli forces raid the Nur Shams refugee camp, because we've seen them do so before. We were there just in late September, and we've seen the Israeli forces bulldozing also through roads. There are dozens of armed Palestinians there in the camp, and we believe that the Israeli forces are trying to target them. But as we've seen from early pictures from within the refugee camp itself, some of those who were killed were not involved in the fighting. A 16-year-old has been shot, and when his father tried to help him, he was shot as well. The father made it, but the son did not. So we're talking about a very tense situation that is unfolding now in Tulkarm.
Talk to us about how the end of the process is shaping up across the West Bank and beyond.
Well, let's not forget that Palestinians here in the occupied West Bank need Israeli military permits that are almost impossible to get to be able to see their fellow Palestinians in the besieged Gaza Strip. So they are geographically separated, and separated by the fact that they fall under one military occupation. So you can imagine the amount of frustration. Some people have families in Gaza, and they cannot even get a chance to check on them, to call them, because of the problems and the communications issues that are facing Palestinians there. So there's a lot of action. But also, we talk about Palestinians here in the occupied West Bank. This situation is probably a little bit better because when we talk about the death toll, yes, the death toll in the occupied West Bank is less than that in the besieged Gaza Strip. But when you talk about the Israeli measures, they are so similar. You're talking about Palestinians who are saying that their land is being taken, that they're being targeted and excessive use of force by Israeli forces. So there's a lot of similarities between the way the Israeli forces are dealing with the Palestinians in their different geographical locations. So you can imagine how that makes Palestinians feel. And also, since the beginning of the war, Palestinians would tell you that the amount of arrests of Palestinians have tripled. The amount of killings has increased. 73 Palestinians so far have been killed just since October the 7th. And we've been already saying before this current escalation that the Palestinians have had their deadliest year here in the occupied West Bank in 2 decades. So you can imagine that 70 people or more have been killed just in a span of less than 2 weeks. And for the whole year we had 200 Palestinians. So we are looking at an intense situation, and with the raids that are ongoing in different locations in the occupied West Bank, tension is still mounting.
Thanks so much, Nida Ibrahim, reporting to us in the West Bank.
It's been nearly 48 hours since an Israeli strike hit the Al Akhir hospital in Gaza, killing hundreds of people and triggering global outrage. Many of the victims were taking shelter at the hospital from Israel's relentless bombardment of the besieged enclave. The Episcopal Church in Ramallah in the occupied West Bank is holding a service for the victims of the war in Gaza, including the people massacred at the Al Akhir hospital. Rabiul Akhir is in Ramallah, in the occupied West Bank. Tell us more about this church service.
Well, the Episcopal Church is actually oversees the Al Akhir hospital in Gaza. They had issued a statement earlier in the day denouncing what had happened in Gaza, calling it a crime against humanity, targeting hospitals.
What the heck? Sao toma? Oh, hacker.
Church saying that tantamounts to crimes against humanity. Now, this service is basically to pray for those who have fallen, but it's also a show of defiance, saying that statement clearly said, and the people coming in here clearly said, yes, they can hurt us, yes, they can try to crush it, but we will always stand up again. We should be hearing later from the priest. I think in his sermon there'll be some quite outwards towards what is happening in Israel and in Gaza, rather, and a lot of support to Gaza, rather, and outwards towards the military operation that Israel is undertaking at the moment.
On Thursday, we saw another Israeli raid in the occupied West Bank. The arrests and the killings by Israeli forces have just increased so sharply since the beginning of the war on Gaza. Can you give us the context around that?
That is something that is ongoing every day, all day. I'm really sorry for this. Every day you wake up in the West Bank and you ask, what happened overnight? How many people were detained? How many people were killed in overnight raids? There is a standoff that has been going on actually since for more than 12 hours now. That is in the north, in Tulkarem. So far, 6 people have died there, and the standoff is still ongoing. The area is completely shut down. It's a refugee camp.
Yeah, the one about.
Completely sealed up at the moment. People can't come in and out. And the last we heard is that electricity and water was also cut off from the area. And then there were 3 others that were killed in also overnight raids. But the tragic story about this is that these numbers keep on increasing on a daily basis. Every day we have to update the tallies. There are more than 300 people have been detained since October 7th when this crisis started. And one person I was talking to earlier in the day, he said, you know, we keep on praying on the souls of those who have died. But then next morning we have to start all over again, because next morning there are new victims, new fallen, new people who have been killed. So it is just this continuous cycle of death and violence that is in the West Bank, and that has been going on since before this crisis, and it's just
Alah, 22 second dah cukup.
a big turning point. Things have become much worse for anyone living in the occupied West Bank. The number of settler attacks, which used to be on average 3 per day, according to the UN humanitarian agency here, well, now they are at least on average.
Ya, lari.
So as you can see, these numbers are increasing disproportionately. And one of the reasons Hamas said that it had carried out this operation, that it wanted to put pressure on Israel, is also because of what the Palestinians in the occupied West Bank go through on a daily basis. It's a different kind of occupation than Gaza is under siege all year long, but here, in this part of the occupied territories, the friction with the occupation is constant day and night, and you never know if you're a Palestinian from where it's coming to you.
Hoda, thank you very much. That's Al Jazeera's Hoda Abdelhamid. You're in Ramallah. You're reporting from the church service that was being held for the victims of the Israeli attack on the hospital in Gaza.
The streets are virtually empty in Hawara, a Palestinian village on the outskirts of Nablus in the occupied West Bank. Illegal Israeli settlements line the ridges of surrounding hills. Construction of more continues. Clashes between Palestinians and Israeli settlers are common here. Several Israelis and Palestinians have been killed in this area in recent months. On October the 4th, the Israeli army forced Palestinian businesses to close, and since then the situation has deteriorated further. People are here, but they are just too afraid to leave their homes. Mohammed Doumedi shows me video of his 19-year-old son Labib on his mobile phone. Mohammed says the university student was describing his ideal wife in the film and making everybody laugh. But Labib was shot dead on October the 5th.
The settlers gathered near the gas station. Another group came from another area. They walked along the road. No one talked to them. No one threw stones at them. They were screaming and swearing. Suddenly, they started shooting randomly and smashed a car. They tried to break the door of our house and get in. There were bullets flying everywhere. Labib took a bullet in the chest.
This video shows the Israeli settlers in the village minutes before Mohammed says they started shooting. He says Israeli soldiers stood by and watched as the violence began.
Without the soldiers' protection, they wouldn't dare to do this. They want us out of this village. Labib had a lot of hopes and dreams. He wanted to be a businessman. He wanted to be a graphic designer, cameraman, but these dreams are now lost.
Labib's mum, Najla, takes me to the spot where her son was shot.
When I heard the shooting, I felt my heart leap. I started saying, "My sons, my sons." His uncles helped him, but the Israeli soldiers started shooting tear gas. They laid him on the street, and the Israeli soldiers said no ambulance could come. We just needed an ambulance. It seemed that they waited for him to die before they let the ambulance in.
Clashes broke out between Palestinian youths and Israeli soldiers during Labib's funeral, reportedly because the Israeli military tried to stop mourners praying in Hawara's central street. Palestinians living along the Hawara road have suffered decades of violence by Israeli settlers living on the hills close by. But they say that since those Hamas attacks inside Israel on October the 7th, the situation here has got even worse. Palestinian protests are increasing in frequency and size across the occupied West Bank. But so is settler violence against Palestinians. The United Nations Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs, or OCHA, has recorded more than 80 attacks by settlers, resulting in Palestinian casualties or property damage in under 2 weeks. The situation was tense in Palestinian villages like Hawara long before the war. Labib's family say the young man who had so much ambition will always be remembered for his humour and dreams. Charles Strafford, Al Jazeera, Hawara in the occupied West Bank.
Make sure to subscribe to our channel to get the latest news from Al Jazeera.
Well, Israeli airstrikes have targeted areas close to villages in southern Lebanon. Missiles were reportedly fired near Kafr Shuba. The Israeli army says it has hit Hezbollah positions. Israel has evacuated towns along the border with Lebanon after repeated exchanges of fire. Zaina Hodder joins us live from southern Lebanon now. And Zaina, can you just explain exactly where you are and give us some more detail about these strikes?
Well, we're not very far from the Israel-Lebanon border. At the time being, it is quiet, but that border has been very much an active front line for more than a week now since Israel began to target Gaza. Hezbollah trying to put pressure on the Israelis, telling them that they're going to face more than one front if they continue to target Gaza. Hezbollah, targeting Israeli military positions along the border, targeting Israeli tanks. In return, Israel targeting sources of fire. Hezbollah does not have any military positions or bases along the border. When Israel says sources of fire, they're going after fighters who are, hiding in the terrain behind me. As you can see, it's very much open terrain. But this conflict along the border is very much contained, at least for the time being. In terms of scope, as you noticed, I'm talking about military targets. Both sides are avoiding civilian casualties, at least for the time being. And in terms of scope, the geography, it's very much limited to a radius of 4 kilometers on both sides of the border. So both sides clearly not wanting this to become a full-blown war, but for the time being. And Hezbollah officials have made this very clear that these are skirmishes and a warning. But we heard a top Hezbollah official say yesterday that we will not allow Gaza to fall. Now, the question is, what will be Hezbollah's red line before it engages in conflict with its full military capabilities? Is it when they feel Hamas can no longer resist the Israelis?
And Zaina, there are also reports that Iranian-backed groups are targeting US troops. What more can you tell us about that?
Well, what we're seeing in the past few hours or so is an expansion of targets, U.S. military targets. Iranian-backed groups are believed, they haven't claimed responsibility yet, we have to be very careful here, but U.S. troops in Iraq reported that they thwarted a drone attack on their troops. A short while ago, we're getting reports that a main U.S. base along the border between Syria and Iraq, Tanaf, has come under attack by 3 armed drones. It is believed that Iranian-backed armed groups, which are based in that area, are responsible. And really what we have been hearing, either from Iranian officials or officials of groups allied to Iran, Hezbollah, Hamas, they're blaming the United States. They're saying that the U.S. administration is directly responsible for the atrocities that Israel is committing, and that, in many ways, this unconditional and unwavering support is why Israel has this green light to operate. So now we are seeing U.S. bases, the military presence, coming under fire, no doubt, trying to put more and more pressure on Israel to stop, really, its campaign against Gaza.
Okay, thank you so much. That's Zaina Hodder for us in southern Lebanon.
What are the challenges Israel faces in a ground assault on Gaza? The enclave is some 41 kilometers long and an average of 9 kilometers wide. Highly urbanized, it also has wide open spaces, mainly used for agriculture, to help feed the 2.2 million people being held there. But for the most part, Israeli soldiers will have to move and fight through densely built up cities and towns. Israeli officers have been studying the lessons learnt by the Russian military in trying to take Ukrainian cities and are trained to use a combined arms approach. This means infantry moving alongside tanks as they're being watched and protected overhead by Air Force jets and armed drones. Hamas has learned from its ground battles in Gaza in 2014, where small unit tactics worked well at ambushing individual groups of Israeli soldiers. Hamas's assault on Israeli kibbutzes and military outposts was well planned and thought out. So too are their defences within Gaza itself. Urban combat is one of the most intense forms of warfare and usually favours those on the defence. Line of sight is often low, with visibility sometimes down to what you can see peering round a corner. Casualties are high, especially for the attacking force. Advance warning of an approaching enemy usually gives time for extensive defences to be prepared. Disguised urban firing positions are reinforced, and holes are dug in walls between adjoining buildings, allowing free movement of fighters up and down a contested street without exposing themselves to fire. Caches of ammunition are stockpiled at key intervals, and likely approachways are mined and booby-trapped. The extensive bombing of Gaza by the Israeli Air Force may actually backfire by helping Hamas be able to defend Gaza more ably. During the Second World War, the German Air Force made the mistake of heavily bombing Stalingrad prior to the German army trying to seize the city on the ground. The bombing has killed many civilians, but also covered the streets with rubble and effectively turned every destroyed building into a fortified position that made it easier for the Soviets to defend. Armour could not move through the streets quickly, and many tanks became sitting ducks. Snipers harassed attacking troops, so virtually all movements stopped. The Israelis have figured out a way around this and have made extensive use of military bulldozers, sometimes through housing, in order to carve paths to their destination. The most viable way for Hamas fighters to move through the enclave is through their extensive tunnel system that they have spent years building and has only been partially detected and destroyed. Bunker buster bombs may have collapsed some of the buildings near the surface, but Israeli special forces will have no choice but to go into those tunnels and fight. Subterranean warfare has been something both the Israeli and US militaries have increasingly focused on as potential battlefields of the future. Small unmanned robots are designed to move through and map tunnels in front of any force, alerting it to the presence of any defenders. Large unwieldy assault rifles would have to be ditched in favour of more compact machine pistols. The use of explosives would have to be carefully thought out. A fine line in destroying a tunnel up ahead without collapsing the tunnel you're in. And one last thing, Hamas fighters have nowhere to retreat to. Can't run away or even hide for any length of time, forcing them to fight even more desperately. Their ranks likely swelled by young men whose relatives have been killed in the bombardment. Fenced in and walled off, everybody is stuck there. No one gets out.
Antonio Guterres is now speaking live from Cairo along with the Egyptian Foreign Minister. Let's listen in.
For this critical leadership. I am in the Middle East on a humanitarian mission at a moment of profound crisis. A crisis unlike any the region has seen in decades. That crisis was triggered by the atrocious 7 October Hamas attacks that killed, injured and kidnapped a large number of civilians from Israel and indeed from around the world. But this led Israel to a total siege on Gaza and a relentless bombing campaign with an ever...
Dans life.
All right, that's UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres. So the head of the United Nations, he's in Egypt. Obviously, Egypt playing a major role here since Egypt controls the Rafah border crossing, the only door out of Gaza right now that is not also controlled by the Israelis. And he is speaking along with the Egyptian foreign minister. Now, remember the context. Number one is that the UN Secretary General has called for a ceasefire. That's language that is new as of yesterday or the previous day, and the first 10 or 11 days of this crisis, the UN actually hadn't called at the highest echelon for a ceasefire, but now he is doing so. And there are many questions around how that aid is going to be delivered, around the volume of the aid, the amount, where it's going, and how it's even going to be distributed within the Gaza Strip, given that no fuel is going to be allowed in. As we keep an eye on that, and we keep an eye on the skies over Gaza, that live shot just moments after we saw continued bombardments on Gaza City, I want to bring in Sultan Barakat. You are Professor of Public Policy at Hamad bin Khalifa University here in Qatar. Thank you for being with us. I want to talk with you a little bit about what the Arab and Muslim nations can do at this stage for the Palestinians. I say this because there were statements coming out of Iran today saying the Islamic world's silence is completely unjustified. This was in a phone call with Qatar. And now you see the UN Secretary General in Egypt. There's also the King of Jordan, who's in Egypt. Where does diplomacy stand right now within the Arab world in support of the Palestinians?
Well, the two worlds within the Arab world and the Muslim world, there are the states and the people on the streets. I think the public has made their views very, very clear throughout the Muslim world.
We've seen protests.
Huge protests, demonstrations, and so on. But when it comes to the states, they have been more reluctant to make a direct statement against the situation in Gaza, partly because of fear of the implication that may bring vis-a-vis the United States, in particular the relationship between the states. Others have already tried to normalization of Israel and already had an agreement. So, Jordan, Egypt, Morocco, even Sudan.
Well, Jordan and Egypt, that's decades old. The countries, the Abraham Accords, the UAE, Bahrain, Morocco, that's very recent. Do you think that they're normalizing of ties with Israel? Do you think that could become more fragile as this conflict continues?
It has to. There is hope in the process, but their public
in what process?
Will be very, very
hope in what process?
In the normalization that it can continue as if it hasn't been interrupted and so on. But I think the public opinion now is very much against.
Respectfully, and I'm sorry to do this, but let me interrupt you because we now have the translation for the UN Secretary General. Let's listen in.
And Rafah crossing board are the only lifeline to those in Gaza Strip. For Egypt once again proves that it is a pillar of peace and security in the region. It is the only country capable of defusing violence. The longer the war, the more the violence will become. And consequently, the more losses there will be in human life and property. We are demanding an immediate ceasefire and the quick and swift delivery of relief aid. I will put this humanitarian mission into effect from now and from Egypt. We shouldn't lose sight that we are all anticipating and looking forward to a long-lasting, permanent and final solution with the establishment of as a dependent Palestinian state side by side with Israel.
Okay, we've just been listening to Antonio Guterres. He's calling on Hamas to release hostages. He's calling on Israel to give unrestricted access to aid into Gaza. He is calling for an immediate humanitarian ceasefire in Gaza. Again, that's his new position. It wasn't his position for the first 10 days of the conflict, but it is as of, I think, 48 hours ago. And he says that Gaza needs aid at a scale and on a sustained basis. What do you make of the position of the UN since the beginning of this conflict?
I must say it was disappointing in the sense no one knows Gaza more than the UN. The UN has been in Gaza for 75 years, so they know exactly the situation. He does know very well, Guterres, that this did not start on the 7th of October. This has a long history. The UN itself has been the victim of Israeli attacks many times over the years. So all he does really, he's trying to put it within an acceptable framework for the superpowers, and that's basically the United States and Britain and France at the moment. So he's trying to walk a tightrope between satisfying them and their protection of Israel, which he fully understands that Israel enjoys an exceptionalism that no other state has in the world. He has the Israelis understand exactly the qualities Israel enjoys as the spoiled child of the West. Now, within that, he has to come up with statements. I think upgrading to a ceasefire is a better goal than initially humanitarian corridors. But ultimately, he'd be lucky if Israel allows in humanitarian corridors in a systematic and safe ways.
How does he have any leverage over what's about to happen? The aid going in, the trucks going in from Egypt into the Gaza Strip, and the conditions that are put on those trucks, how much aid, what aid can be in those trucks, etc. Does he have a say in that?
Not at this stage. I mean, the UN has the infrastructure and can deliver aid and can guarantee for Israel that this aid will not make it into the hands of Hamas and will not include any weapons. And this is not the first time. They've done it many, many times before, and they've done it all over the world. But at the moment, the convoy that we see ready to go into Gaza is a token.
20 trucks for 2.2 million people.
20 trucks for yes, it's nothing. It is not a United Nations aid. This is mostly from Egypt. It's a token to show Egypt is doing its part. It's a token to show that Biden didn't travel on Air Force One all that distance and back for nothing. So he's done something. And it is also a way to show that the Israelis still have a space in their heart to look after these people. But we all know that the 20 trucks are not sufficient, just to supply the hospitals, never mind the ones that were damaged.
Match found.
You need much more than that on a daily basis.
Yeah, you don't need to be an expert to know that you can't feed 2 million people with 20 trucks. You can't give drinking water to 2 million people.
Food would have spoiled by now. These have trucks that have been there for about 10 days.
So this is for hospital
They mostly will probably have medical equipment and hygiene kits to help limit the spread of diseases. This is the next thing that is coming to hit Gaza. There will be a spread of epidemics across the area, largely because of failing of sewer system. Without electricity, there's no way to pump the sewers, and these will now come to haunt everyone, aside from the fact that there is no fresh water available to the people of Gaza.
Sultan Barakat, thank you very much for joining us this hour. Appreciate your context and analysis.
We salute the Hamas brigades, they chant. Hundreds of people gathered in central Ramallah, one of a growing number of protests in towns and cities in the occupied West Bank. Israel's war on Gaza is uniting people across the Palestinian territory.
We're one people in the West Bank and Gaza. Our blood is one. We're in small jails. We suffer from raids and settlers. We're locked in. We can't move. Settlers attack farmers and chop off trees. I feel let down by the Arab people. I don't count on the Western world because Israel is their project, not only the US project. It's a British, French, German, European, and American project to protect their interests in the Middle East.
We're not here to say God is with Gaza. We're part of Gaza in the battle itself. They tried to tame us for so long. People have scattered, but the anger kept brewing. People just want their voice to get heard. Gaza's children are ours too. The blood flowing in Gaza is ours.
Palestinian security forces struggled to disperse hundreds of protesters on Tuesday night. Fires were lit across Ramallah, tear gas and live fire into the air, believed to be from Palestinian gunmen supporting the demonstrators. They were demanding that Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas return from the Jordanian capital Amman immediately, where he was scheduled to meet US President
Joe Mama.
Reloading. Turret destroyed. Toxins going up. Yield my copy. That's done.
Satchel out.
Somebody's there. Train harder. Not recharged yet. Ultimate orders. Enemy down. Goodbye. Poison orb emitting. Reloading. Get out of my way. Reloading. Here.
New stage in 10.
Satchel out.
Stage 2.
Variable removed.
Gotcha. Reloading.
Now fall.
Oh.
Ultimate orb spawning.
Oh.
Toxins going up. Too slow.
Oh, nice.
Stage 3.
Be at peace. Poison orb emitting. Poison's off. Here. Killed. Got one. Put down. Reloading. Reloading.
Seconds until stage change. Final stage.
Toxins going up. Here. One down.
Dizzy's up top.
Who's next?
Right there. Poison orb. Healing. Got three. Now four. One down. Get out of my way. One dead.
Charge your ults.
Here.
The hunt begins.
Here. Toxins going up. Reloading. Go get him.
Blow him up, Mosh.
Placing alarm box. Found them. Got three. Opponent killed. My ultimate. Now four. Enemy down.
That's a rampage for Killjoy.
Poison orb emitting. Very. Grenade.
Here.
Ui, tè.
Here. Revive us. My ultimate is ready.
Right there.
Ah, ma aku tak tahu lagi.
Poison orb emitting. Don't get in my way. Enemy down.
15 kills remaining.
Poison's off. Toxins going up.
Dizzy's up.
Toxin screen down.
Who's next?
4 down.
Ultimate orb spawning.
Toxins going up. Toxin screen down.
Get grounded.
Ah! Oh, my smoke. Tak ada masuk smoke aku. Ayam.
Biden. They accused the Palestinian leader of not doing enough to protect the people of Gaza from Israel's onslaught. Enough international diplomacy, they said. It never works. The situation calmed when Abbas announced he was coming back to Ramallah and he had cancelled the meeting with the US president. But as the horrific pictures of Israel's attack of a hospital in Gaza, which killed nearly 500 people, sank in, protests continued Wednesday in Hebron, where youths hurled rocks and burnt tires, chanting, "With our souls and blood we sacrifice ourselves for Al-Aqsa."
These are not just massacres. This is a genocide. They want to annihilate the Palestinian people, not just Gaza. We know we'll be next.
There were also protests in Beit Laham.
We call for an immediate ceasefire. We call the world to have passage for humanitarian aid, and we call for a just peace so that Palestinians can have their freedom and their independence and their self-determination.
As Israel's bombardment of Gaza continues, there's a widening feeling here amongst the people in the occupied West Bank that demonstrations are the only way that they can highlight the decades of suffering they have endured under Israel's occupation and try and stop Israel's relentless killing of their friends, families and fellow Palestinians in the Gaza Strip. Charles Strafford, Al Jazeera, Ramallah.
Make sure to subscribe to our channel to get the latest news from Al Jazeera.
Across Jordan, angry protesters in their thousands have continued to chant against Israeli attacks on Palestinians. The biggest protests are outside the Israeli embassy in Amman. The Jordanian security forces have prevented demonstrators from reaching the embassy compound. According to Israeli media, the building was evacuated on day one of the war on Gaza. Jordanians and Palestinians from all sections of society have taken to the streets after the Israeli attack on Al-Ahli Baptist Hospital in Gaza, which killed hundreds of people.
I am really angry about what is happening because it's not right. It's not right. We are really angry. We are sad. I don't know how to explain my feeling in the right words.
We are looking forward to a free Palestine, free of colonization, free of occupation.
I will tell everyone, stay united as one people, one body, even youth and children. Don't give up your motherland.
We are watching the TV and my children crying every day, and I hope that everything will be okay with Gaza.
That grief and anger echoed during the Jordanian Parliament's emergency session on Gaza. The Prime Minister says support for Palestinians will continue in the face of what he calls Israeli aggression, which has transcended all human, moral and legal values. King Abdullah's message also had strong words. He called the hospital attack a massacre, a heinous war crime, which cannot be tolerated. The attack on the hospital in Gaza has hit a nerve, not just here in Jordan, but across the Middle East. People here in Amman say that unless
Reloading. Target out. Alarm bot out. Placing swarm grenade. Placing swarm grenade. Go, go, go!
All RB.
Recalling my bot. Bot coming back. Oh!
One enemy remaining. Spike planted.
Voilà. Good. Nampak pala.
Cover going out. Spikes there. Gotta go. They'll hit back, or at least they should. Turret out. Yeah, breaks over. Placing swarm grenade.
Oh, ada dah save dah center ni.
Many enemies mid. One dead. Bot coming back.
One enemy remaining. Spike planted.
Gun here.
Ram. Muka semua.
I've tried explosions. Not a fan. Swarm grenade out. Where are we going this time? Remember what worked in the past.
What worked in the past? Tak main lagi B. At least. Cakap ni. At least.
Placing sentry.
Right here. Forward.
Mana weh? Macam mana dekat dia?
Go, go, go!
Enemy spotted. Multiple enemies.
Here. Here. Enemy spotted B. Watch out. Enemy B.
Spike planted.
Placing alarm bot. Here. Placing swarm grenade. Take this. Swarm grenade out. Here we go. My ult's ready. Here.
Ah, what the heck? Ada kotak 3.
Last player standing.
Coba tu aim. Oh. Nah.
Don't stress if I
Apa is this?
die. It was great knowing you all. I'm out of here. Also, delete my hard drive.
Go for it.
Placing sentry. Placing alarm bot. Here.
Ah, kenapa aku gelap? Asap.
One enemy remaining.
Oi.
Spike down A.
Ini jangan makan semua.
Revealing area.
Here.
Wis dia.
Spike spotted A.
Keep hunting them down.
Gotta
The
go.
siege cannot protect them all.
Gotta go.
Apa buat tak tembak? Ares.
There. Take out their healer. Turret out. Turret destroyed. Alarm bot out. Here. Placing swarm grenade. Placing swarm grenade. Swarm grenade out. Swarm grenade out.
Prepare for hellfire!
Spike planted. One enemy remaining.
There. Take this.
Shameful performance.
Reloading.
Diffused.
Tak, dia kena dia.
Their fear blinds them.
Need a drop.
Kena.
Salamat. Thanks. Gun here. Go, go, go.
Kanan. Oh.
Placing alarm bot. Placing swarm grenade. Get out of my way.
Who's next?
Multiple enemies A. I am the hunter. Calling my bot. Can't use that yet.
Spike planted.
Calling my bot.
Last player standing.
Ah, yang kiri ada juga. Itulah. I'm the bottom frag.
Easy enough. I'm out of here. Placing sentry.
Okay.
Here. My ult's ready.
Nak pindah sana tak jadi.
Jet's ground. My ultimate.
Ah!
Your duty is not over.
They should have dug a deeper grave. Enemy spotted.
One enemy remaining.
Nice.
You are in our way.
Lepas mau power kecil aku.
Reloading.
Enemies close. Eyes up.
Oh, die.
Go, go, go!
Oh, you see me, oh man.
Alarm bot out.
Okay. Okay.
Placing sentry. Bot coming back. Bot coming back.
Spike planted.
Here.
Enemy spotted. Must have hurt.
Turret out. Turret just placing swarm grenade. Placing swarm grenade. Swarm grenade out. Swarm grenade out. One down.
One enemy remaining.
That's three.
Here.
Clutch.
Oh, not a step wrong, Neon.
I couldn't know it.
Gotta go. Reloading.
Where should the other weapon? In the Guardian. Right there.
Let's go.
Placing alarm bot. Turret out. Here. Placing swarm grenade. Swarm grenade out. Placing swarm grenade. Swarm grenade out. Here.
Many enemies.
Here. Here.
Opponent killed.
You will not kill
down.
my allies.
Scanning ahead.
Spike planted.
Ah!
Player standing.
Ah! Apa dia buat? Oh! 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 Oh, I thought it over there. In downside.
Act on my intel. Don't give them time
I'm
to
outta here.
reposition.
My ultimate is ready.
No, I'm not still on it. I cannot play like him.
Placing sentry.
I have your back.
Tak Kena so morning.
Alarm bot out.
Enemy B. Taken out. Ions ready.
Spike down B.
Recalling my bot.
One enemy remaining.
Let me just swipe those biometrics.
Reloading.
What will it be this time? Have any patterns emerged yet?
Placing sentry. Placing swarm grenade. Get out of my way! Placing alarm bot. Recalling my bot.
Spike planted. Last player standing.
Got one.
One enemy remaining.
Got three.
Last round before the switch.
Last round to use our creds and abilities. Don't waste your firepower. Turret out. Placing swarm grenade. Placing alarm bot. Here.
The hunt begins.
Down.
Prepare for hellfire.
Lockdown destroyed. Here. Swarm grenade out.
Spike planted.
Shot done.
One enemy remaining.
Enemy spotted A.
Placing swarm grenade. Swarm grenade
Here we
out.
go!
Shock it! Shortcut! I'm out of here.
Flawless.
I love
it. Switching sides.
Taking, eh?
I can hold an area pretty well myself. Make sure to cover the angles I can't.
Thank you. I know I'm lucky.
Gotta go.
Lucky me.
Go, go, go. Gotta go. I'm out of here.
Kita apa pakai Reno? Oh, Jet.
Fight. Alarm bot out.
revealing area.
Variable removed. Placing swarm grenade. I'm out of here. Placing swarm grenade.
Enemy spotted A. Captain killed. Multiple enemies A.
Get it on. Molly.
Swarm grenade out. Go away. Reloading. Don't die. If you need help figuring out how, just ask. Go, go, go!
Am I going? Did A?
I'll show. Gotta go!
Shadows traveling. Enemy spotted mid.
For you.
Reloading.
Alarm bot out.
Cover going out.
Killed my bot. I'll beat it. I got this spike.
Spike down mid.
Turret out. Turret destroyed. Spike's down.
Oh shit.
Last player standing.
Oh.
Nope, we're not a good attacking. Berdua dua orang.
I survived obliteration. I will survive them.
I'm out of here.
So, SSH will fight.
Go, go, go!
Tak apa nak jauh dari sini.
I'm out of here. Placing alarm bot.
Scanning ahead.
Last player standing. Spike down B.
Found them.
Okay, this doesn't look good.
Remember, your weapon is only a tool. You can't just shoot. You have to think.
Yeah, you have to think, bro. Do you think? I guess I don't. I you know, do I think? Kat ni bahaya apa? Mesti apa? Mesti agent ni ada hati, dia kena mati.
Get out of my way. Alarm bot out. Oh.
Patutnya tembok terus tadi. Segi disiplin bagus tapi nak in that kind of situation. Ni cakap lantai kat aku.
Perfect.
Last player standing.
Kita dah apa ni? Jet tu. Jam.
Feel the strain. Block it out, Omen.
Bisa kali ya, kenapa lah? To the skull.
My ultimate is ready. Reloading.
TB juga. Orange.
Everywhere. Reloading.
Placing alarm bot. Gotta go. Shortcut.
Scanning ahead.
Dang.
Spike down B.
Here.
Oh man, what is the smoke?
Who's next?
Last player standing. Flawless.
Check it out. Out.
Ingat ka. Don't get stabbed. Bad way to go.
Go, go, go!
Yeah.
Alarm bot out.
Careful, one plan.
Initiated.
Prepare for hellfire!
Spike down A.
I have the spike. Enemy spotted A.
Area's clear.
I am the hunter!
Last player standing.
We're really bad attacking.
Time to stock back up. Gotta go.
Kalau tengah lah, that doesn't seem a good idea. No one really know what we are doing. No smoke on entry or whatsoever. Aku juga kena flank. Semua negeri tu main. Aku ingat. What the heck?
Back up. Placing alarm bot.
My ultimate is ready. Reloading.
Healing you. Reloading.
Here. No.
Reloading.
Oh, belakang. Fish.
Last player standing.
Allah, elok tadi tu.
Match point.
Oh, GG guys.
Because we are together. Don't forget that.
Nah, just drunk and we're dying. And I will forget that.
Spikes here.
Reloading.
Reloading. Quick feet,
Reloading.
quick trigger. Placing alarm bot.
Shadows traveling.
Revealing area.
Annihilated.
Bot coming back. Placing sentry. Placing swarm grenade. Swarm grenade out.
One enemy remaining.
My ultimate is ready.
Gun here.
Your duty is not over. That's done.
Turret here. Oh, get out of my way.
Spike down B.
Shocking. Shortcut. That was their best, ba? Not impressed.
Aku mati, dah hidup balik. Dah mati. Pelan-pelan.
Back what is mine.
Okay, we can do this. Try.
Spike's here. I'm out of here.
Satu lang. Kamu kita ke ni? Kaya gila.
Alarm bot out.
Lah. Pasti buat kau contoh. Oh, sis.
Multiple enemies aim.
Yeah, it's the
begins.
Oh, fuck, dah jangan sih, 60.
Spike down
You will
A.
not kill my ally. I got spike.
Stealing sight.
Take this.
One enemy remaining.
There. Wall race.
Last player standing.
Kan.
Go, go, go.
Well, open. Ada lagi. Di mana?
Rana, clock sticking.
Oh.
I'm out of here.
Lie him.
Yan can drop.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Go, go, go.
Ano ni banyak bandar. Oh.
I think you're.
Alarm bot out.
Who's next?
Take this. There you go. We're good. Turret out.
Our side.
Gotta
Our
go.
side.
Enemy down.
Ah, turret down. Spikes down. Placing swarm grenade. Placing swarm grenade.
Wall race.
Can't use that yet. Bot coming back. Swarm grenade. Swarm grenade out.
Last player standing.
Ah!
Nice try, nice.
Tak lah, play naknya GG je.
Defenders win.
Ya semua. Này great eye đây. Tôi là blue door. Kah, fra. Ayen. Ada saya sebenarnya betul. Betul. Aku carrier. Tapi aku rasa dapat lah. Ni extra siapa yang beli tu. Tak rasa belum beli. Pakai je ni. Dah ada hari. Empat lah. Berapa? 4, 5, 6, 7 saja. 9. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 okey. Ya Pak, 5 orang aku bilang. 1,5 orang. S'il vous plaît. S'il vous plaît. Tapi s'il vous plaît lambat kok. Aku main tune dah semua. Dengar berita ni.
Israel stops what they call indiscriminate killing of Palestinians. Their demonstrations will continue. Samba Javed, Al Jazeera, Amman.
Make sure to subscribe to our channel to get the latest news from Al Jazeera.
Match found.
Israeli airstrikes have targeted areas close to villages in southern Lebanon. Missiles were fired at Hezbollah positions near Kafr Shuba. Israel has evacuated towns along the border with Lebanon after repeated exchanges of fire. Zaina Khoda reports from southern Lebanon.
Israel's military says it's targeting Hezbollah positions across the border in Lebanon. It's facing a guerrilla war. The Iranian-backed Lebanese armed group has been attacking Israeli military positions along the border, as well as tanks using precision-guided missiles. The warring sides have been trading fire along what has been an active front line since Israel started to attack Gaza more than a week ago. Hezbollah joined the battle after a call by its ally Hamas, but it's very much limiting its response within the rules of engagement established since its last war with Israel in 2006. Israel says it doesn't want to be dragged into war on a second front, but it has threatened to respond forcefully if attacked.
To engage Hezbollah in a full-scale war, it's a very risky thing. It is not popular among the Lebanese population first, and it has to have a green light from the Iranian regime, because that might create a new dynamics in the Middle East altogether. So a decision of that scale, it has to be cleared by both the Iranian leadership and maybe the Syrians as well.
Reloading. Hezbollah has said it's not neutral in the conflict. Its backer Iran has repeatedly warned of a war that would engulf the region. Attacks against Gaza continue. So-called axis of resistance. The red line is, except that Gaza will not fall. Will not fall. A decision by Hezbollah to enter the war with its full military capabilities could depend on how long its ally can sustain Israeli attacks on its own.
Reloaded.
Iran and its allies across the region are now focusing their energy on the U.S. administration. They say it has given Israel free rein to carry out wartime around Palestinians. Reloading. There have been reports of attacks on U.S. military in Iraq and Syria.
I need to tell them to tell them that, you know, if this war happens, it will not be a conventional war. It will have no limits, no borders, and attacks on Israel battles can be from anywhere.
For the time being, there is heated rhetoric while all sides appear to be weighing the risks and benefits of confrontation. But what appears to be shaping up is a protracted cross-border war. Al Jazeera.
Reloading.
In southern Lebanon, even as the screen left on the scenes, Israel-Lebanon border where fires seem to be burning. Let's see see if we can get any information on that. I don't know if you're in the vicinity of what I'm seeing, but what are you learning about what's happening at the border?
Toxins going up.
Well, the border is on fire since several attacks have been launched in different sectors, from the east to the west. Now, we are on the Mediterranean. To the other side, the eastern sector is on the border with Syria and, of course, Israel. So there have been several attacks. Positions were hit by anti-tank guided missiles. In accordance, there were over 20 rockets that were launched by Hamas, Palestinian group Hamas in Lebanon.
Poison orb emitting. Dead.
And also there was a barrage of rockets towards Kiryat Shmona to the east. Now we are at
3 down.
A lot of attacks, a lot of take for tat, and this also is going on as we know for the past 10-12 days. Yesterday or this morning, very early, where we are, there were 2 airstrikes. Explosions. Israeli airplanes hit Hezbollah targets. We have also other targets in the east. So we are seeing more attacks. Before we used to see 1, 2, 3 attacks. Today, at least there are 5, 6 attacks. And now, with this different approach, given the rockets that hit the building in Kiryat Shmona, the reports that people injured. This is different. This is kind of changing the situation slightly. And we've been watching the situation gradually escalating. This is another thing. There's something I'd like to emphasize on. While attacking the Israeli posts on the borders, there are kind of some communication apparatuses and tools like cameras, the pictures for the whole borders, also that are used to intercept calls and this situation. So there are different objectives Hezbollah is putting in front of them. The idea of relieving Gaza from the pressure and trying to draw more reinforcements to the north. We can see that after around 2 weeks or less, a bit less, at the beginning of these escalations and this war, till the moment the ground offensive hasn't started. And this was one of the offensives will not be prevent the ground offensive. It seems till the moment the is succeeding in kind of hurdling the ground offensive.
Ali, thank you very much for all of that. Even if you keep an eye on the Lebanon-Israel border screen left, and I'll keep in mind what you said at the top of your explanation, that the Israel-Lebanon border is on fire. It's true that since this conflict began on October 7th, this round of fighting, there has been tit-for-tat exchange of artillery fire, mortar fire, etc. coming from both sides of the border, and that's why we keep a close eye on what's happening there. So far, Israel signaling to, rather saying to Lebanon, warning them not to enter into a full-scale war. Hezbollah has stopped short of that, but explained to us that the border area is becoming more and more. Al Jazeera's Ali Hashem in Nakura, southern Lebanon. Thank you very much.
Get out of my way.
There have been protests around the world in support of the Palestinians. Some of the largest have been in capital. Osama bin Laden. Osama, what's the latest on the protests that we can see behind you.
Meters away from the Israeli embassy. Today what is different is that Jordanian authorities have blocked all roads that go towards the Israeli embassy. And in the last 48 hours we've seen these protests grow and grow and grow in Gaza. Now they are being told to protest in the square near one of the most popular mosques here, and people have been coming here in numbers. Let me just move out of the shot so you can actually feel the energy of this crowd, which was people and more people are coming. There's a large police presence here, and as we've been witnessing in the last few days, people are angry, and this has become an avenue of expression for a lot of people. It becomes a mourning space for them where they come and mourn their dead. It becomes a concert at times where they play their music, and then it also becomes an area where they show solidarity with the people of Gaza. These more than 2 million refugees here in the Jordanian capital have been displaced from the Palestinian territory, so they have relatives. We spoke to one man who's lost multiple members of his family. He stopped working because he said this cannot go on and he cannot function like this anymore. So this is the atmosphere here in the Jordanian capital on the diplomatic backdrop of the Jordanian king traveling to the city of Cairo, meeting the Egyptian president, and then also the German foreign minister here in the Jordanian capital as well. So a lot of effort from Arab countries who try and move the Israelis to cease the attacks on what they call civilian population, to allow in aid, and that seems to be a difference between Western diplomatic push where the focus is on releasing prisoners and making sure that Hamas does not carry out any further attacks.
Al Jazeera's Osama bin Javed live reporting on the protest that's behind you in the Jordanian capital. I can bring you another pro-Palestinian protest live. This is coming from the French capital in Paris, where people are demonstrating. You can see law enforcement in front of them that are blocking their way. Now, several pro-Palestinian protests that were planned and that were scheduled have been canceled by French authorities since the beginning of the Gaza war.
And as we are continuing to watch those protests, they're taking place in Lebanon against Israel. Hezbollah called for large-scale demonstrations on Wednesday in what it's calling a day of unprecedented rage. In Beirut, angry protests taking place outside the U.S. Embassy. Authorities have used water cannon and fired tear gas to try and disperse crowds. Zaina Khoda has this update from Beirut.
Well, we are in the southern suburbs of Beirut, the stronghold of Hezbollah. It has called for this protest to condemn what it is calling the massacres against the Palestinian people. This is a solidarity rally. This is there's a message of solidarity with the people of Gaza. There's also a message, really, from Hezbollah that it is their duty to stand by the people of Gaza, and in the words of one of its top officials, Gaza will not fall. Now, is that Hezbollah's red line? Is that the cue when Hezbollah will decide to enter and join this battle with its full military capabilities, when it feels that Hamas, an ally, can no longer resist the Israeli attack? He did not make it clear in so many words, but he did say over and over, Gaza will not fall. So, of course, there is strategic interest for Hezbollah. Hezbollah, Hamas, they're all part of the Iranian-backed so-called axis of resistance. If you talk to officials who are close to the group, they will tell you that this has become an existential fight. Either Israel will remain or the axis of resistance will remain. Hezbollah has been engaged, has been trading fire with Israel along the border for the past week or so now, trading fire almost at a daily basis. but the conflict along the border is largely confined in scope, in targets, each side just targeting military positions, and the area of conflict is really approximately 4 kilometers from the border, a radius of 4 kilometers. But the biggest question really in Lebanon is what will come next. When will Hezbollah intervene and help Hamas? There has been calls from day one from Hamas for other groups to take part in this battle. So today, the words from a top Hezbollah official, Gaza will not fall.
The scope of the problem facing Israel is quite significant. They've got 3 areas that they're having to focus on really at the moment. Gaza with Hamas, that we're hearing about a lot, but also into the north of Israel, we've got Lebanese Hezbollah and the Lebanon.
Toxins going up. Watching this location. Toxin screen down. Enemy A. Here.
You gotta meow for it. You gotta meow for the heal.
Healing you.
Jet, next time, like, I'm not gonna heal you if you don't meow.
Toxins going up. Enemy spotted A.
Spike planted.
Kan ada plant sampai orang duk miau-miau dia.
Enemy spotted A.
Last player standing.
Yeah.
Drink some water, reload your mags, and let's get back out there.
Some water. Reload the mag. Are we dead? Are we dead?
Come on, little homies. Let's get it. Get him, wingman. Damn.
Toxins going up.
Crash is ready.
There. Toxin screen down. Toxins going up.
Spike planted.
My territory is mine!
I have them now!
One down.
Ah!
Last player standing.
My priority is their suffering.
Let's play it.
Safety's off.
Toxins going up. Toxin screen down. Here.
Ah! I know exactly where you are.
Spike planted.
It's all you, little homie.
Right between the eyes.
Wahal Pokemon.
Enemy spotted B. Lock in sight. Lock in sight.
Stim beacon down.
Bye. My ult ready. What's this?
One enemy remaining.
Depan dia mati.
Hold on to your hats. My ult's ready. Sorry to spoil the party.
Last round in the half.
This is it. Get those guns.
Keep up. Toxins going up. Don't get in my way. Here. Toxin screen down. Here. Here. Enemy spotted A. Toxins going up. Good attempt. Toxin screen down.
Spike planted.
Toxins going up.
Reloading.
Jauh itu.
Toxin screen down.
Away.
One enemy remaining.
My ultimate is ready. Your duty is not over.
Switching sides.
Just like we practiced.
Tiga. Taki je.
Reloading.
Even fight? That's fun.
Dizzy has
Toxins going up.
Dizzy has targets.
Our carrier's down.
Spike down B.
Poison orb emitting. Toxin, I have the spike.
Reloading. Launching smoke.
Spike planted.
Last player standing.
No.
One enemy
Oh,
remaining.
wow.
Got it. Remember to talk to each other out there. If we communicate, we win.
So if it's good.
Let's see how it goes.
Holy smokes!
Toxins going up.
Plant the spike, Wings.
Spotted A.
Enemy A.
Poison orb emitting. Only killed. Poison's off.
Last player standing.
Not recharged yet. Not reach. Poison orb emitting. Poison's off.
One enemy remaining.
Takkan down.
Clutch.
Aku tengok mana ada tak ada.
Careful, Viper. You'll scare the kids.
This is just. Where's my ad?
Toxins going up.
Launching smoke.
My ultimate is ready.
Wingman's planting.
My territory, my rules.
Enemy A.
One enemy remaining. Last player standing.
She showers.
A. Match point.
We get a pick, we move in. Got it?
Saya ke sana apa? Nak tengok. It's basically a noobs. You.
Let's go.
We move. My ultimate is ready. Healing you. Weapon.
Toxins going up.
Loading.
Enemy down. Toxin screen down. Toxins going up. Killed. Plant the spike. Toxin screen down. Spike planted. Thanks, Wings.
One enemy remaining.
You were a boulder. I am a mountain. Don't get in my way.
Sudden death.
So, do we mix it up? Double down? Let's talk.
Tak, kalau itu.
Can someone buy me? Please? Appreciate it.
Breathe deep.
Okay, doa. Okay, doa awak tanpa. Dah main.
Yeah, it's like that.
Toxins going up.
Somebody's there.
Toxin screen down.
Preacher kid is dead.
Wall raised.
Mosh pit.
Toxins going up. Here. Toxin screen down.
One
Here.
going up the hookah.
Get out of my way.
One enemy remaining.
Hero, didn't you?
Attackers win.
Now demand what we
Safe play nama tak attack can please Viper. Yeah, sure you not. Fine, yeah, it's pretty fun. Yeah, empat case juga lah. Done and dusted. Lalu, Assalamualaikum.